Hello guys and welcome back to the YouTube. So today basically I'm going to show you what I'm eating at the minute in this little mini cut phase that I'm doing. So obviously not today, it's 6:30 at night, but tomorrow I'm going to film my day of food basically. So tomorrow is going to be a training day, so I'm training glutes and hams, and I'm basically going to show you what I am eating on a full training day. So I'll show you all my food, show you everything I eat. You may have noticed this by now if you've watched the previous videos, but my meals are very repetitive. So the training day meals are the same on a training day, right? The rest day meals are the same on a rest day. And there is a reason behind that. So I just wanted to talk about if you are someone that is currently trying to level up your progress, whether that be in a fat loss phase, in a building phase. I wanted to talk about how you can actually structure your day and structure your nutrition to get the most out of the phase that you are in. So I've been doing this now in terms of bodybuilding, fat loss, building muscle, just that whole process. I've been doing this properly, I'm going to say now, for the last 8 years and training for 10 plus years in the gym right now. So this has been something that I've done multiple different methods of. I've been down the whole if it fits your macros route, track it as you go type thing, and obviously I've been down the meal plan route, which is what I do now. So I basically wanted to explain that and just talk through the reason that I do certain things, why I structure my day a certain way, and just help you get the most out of the phase that you are in as well. So when I first got into my fitness bodybuilding journey quite a few years back, early 20s, late teens, when I was at uni basically, I was very much in the tracking your macros, if it fits your macro camp type thing. So what I would do, I would go to the shop, see what I wanted, bought whatever kind of food I wanted on the day, and then I would literally just track it as I went through the day. But what that results in is you essentially just end up grabbing whatever you feel like. You end up getting to the end of the day, your protein's maybe not where it needs to be, you've ran out of calories, you get to 2 p.m. and you're like, shit, I've got 200 calories left for the day. Or you end up stood in the fridge at night being like, right, I've got 18 grams of protein, 27 grams of carbs and 42 grams of fat, whatever it is. You end up just with these random numbers, and then you stood there in the evening on MyFitnessPal, this literally used to be me, trying to figure out what you can eat to hit these specific macros. And when I was actually doing this, I ended up in a position where my digestion was just all over the shot. So my gut health was off. I was ending up really bloated. And the whole reason for that, because there was no structure to it. So I was eating sort of random foods every day. I was also eating at really random times. So I'm not saying you have to eat exactly the same time every day, but having some sort of continuity, some sort of structure with your nutrition, it really does help digestion. And it just means that then I was having a massive breakfast one day and then not eating for 6 hours, or vice versa. And it also led to me eating quite a lot of heavily processed foods, because I was if it fits your macros. So I'll be like, oh, I can have a protein bar, or I'll make these protein pancakes, or oh, look at this low calorie brownie, I'll just have that and track it in. And it ended up being really random. And whereas I look at my diet now and I'm 95% of my diet, especially because I'm dieting at the minute, is whole foods. So protein, rice, potatoes, fruit, veg, fats, peanut butter, avocado. Most of my diet comes from those food sources. Whereas when I look back to 7, 8, 9 years ago, a lot of it wasn't. A lot of it was from, don't get me wrong, I was still eating protein and stuff, but it was just a lot more random. And the reason that it ends up being that way is just because you've got no structure, you've got nothing that you actually following, you're just kind of tracking things in and trying to get the numbers to add up without actually looking at the quality of your food and what you're actually eating. And what you'll find as well, this is what I found, is when it came to making progress with fat loss, because I was just kind of tracking random foods in, it was really hard to actually track the progress, because if I pulled my calories down a bit, it would be then I'd just be starting from scratch and tracking everything. So actually having some sort of structure, not only does it make your progress so much better, it also is just so much easier to stick with. And I'm not talking like eat exactly the same food every day, but having a fundamental structure, it just takes away so much of the thinking. So like for me, for example, I have 6 meals on a training day, I have 5 meals on a rest day, I eat the same 6 meals on a training day, I eat the same 5 meals on a rest day. It means I'm never going to get to the end of the day and be like, oh God, I've run out of food, I'm starving, what am I going to eat? Because I know what my evening meal is. I know that that evening meal is staying the same every day, and I know what time I eat it. So it just makes dieting so much easier. Because you're not constantly having to think about the foods that you are eating. You know what you need to buy from your food shop, you know what you need to create and prep and cook for the week. Everything's just sorted. And it also means that then you're not going to be just, a lot of dieting is made harder by having to make decisions. Like if I was tracking my food and I was starving and it was like 2 p.m, I'd be like, oh, I'll just have this and track it in, and like I'll take that off my calories. But then you end up in a predicament where you've run out of calories before the end of the day. Whereas I know these are my 6 meals, I know what time I have roughly set meal time, so I'll eat at the same times every day. So I know that I'm never going to run out of food. If I get hungry and it's in between a meal time, I'm like, well, this is my meal time, I'll just wait till my meal time. It just, again, you're not then tracking and trying to swap things around and change things. It does honestly just massively simplify the whole process. And I'm not talking, you have to eat exactly the same food every day, but if you've got a structure, like one of my meals on a training day, right, is 130 grams of raw weight lean protein, so like chicken or prawns, and then I have basically like salad and veggies and greens. But I might swap around the veggies, so I might have different type of veg one day to the next, or I might have prawns one day, tuna, chicken. I'll swap it around, because from a digestion and gut health perspective, you want to be eating a variety of foods because it just helps. But it doesn't need to throw off the structure, and it's the same, like my pre-workout is 50 grams of oats, a banana, 25 grams of whey. Like that will stay the same fundamentally, because I need the carbs, protein before I train. I want a relatively low fat meal before I train as well. But it just means that I might have Weetabix one day instead of oats. So what you can do is sort of swap around the macros and like match the particular macro, if you like. So you could have rice one day, pasta the next day, potato, but they're all a carb source, and the calorie content of that carb source is going to stay the same for that particular meal. But what that does is it allows you to have some flexibility within your day-to-day food choices, but you're not having to track everything. You're not having to think, oh God, I had a massive high calorie breakfast and now I can't eat this pre-workout meal, and it just knocks everything off. So it took me a while to actually realise this, because I hated the idea of following a meal plan and following a structure. I was like, what if I don't want to eat that meal one day? But you do just sort of adjust to it, and you realise that you can have different sources. You can sort your veg, you can sort your protein. Like it's not exactly the same, but it just gives you that structure so you're not left in a predicament. And I think regardless, of whether you're in a building phase, whether you're in a dieting phase, having that structure like really clearly set, it makes it so much easier. Because when you're in a building phase and you're trying to push your calories up, if you're struggling and you're not hungry, again, you're going to get to the point where you're like, oh my God, I've got so many calories left. Whereas if right, these are my meal times, these are my meals, it takes away that thinking again and makes it a lot easier to get the food in. Same with you in a dieting phase. If you're hungry, you wait till your next meal, So this whole process, I'm not saying don't track your food ever if that works for you, but I genuinely think having structure, it makes the results and the whole process just so much simpler. And it was an absolute game changer for me. So yeah, like I said, I do basically 6 meals on a training day, 5 meals on a rest day. And something you can do, this is something I did in my off season, is I had like a meal out a week where I could basically, have a nice meal. And that's not an excuse to just go and eat rubbish, but it means then that I can go and have a nice meal, I can have a dessert, and I just eat the rest of my meals as normal. I'm not trying to track it in and fit it in. And I have like free calories as well. So I might have my meal plan and then I have like X amount free calories where I can have what I want. So today, for example, had my 6 meals training day. have 153 calories. So I had some avocado with my breakfast and I had some peanut butter on my pre-workout, and that was my 150 calories. So it just allows you to have that bit of variety day to day, and as you get into an off season and a building phase, you can increase the amount of free calories that you have, if that makes sense. So that's just a nice little way of looking at it and giving yourself that flexibility and that variety without it just causing inconsistency. Because if you're having to track, like, I'm going to be honest, if I was having to track my food every day, I would find it difficult to be consistent every day. So if you are someone that is really serious about results and you want results, like, make your life easier. And like, the reason I think people like IIFYM macros is because you can have what you want. So you're like, oh, I'm going to have a chocolate bar today. I'll track 300 calories of chocolate in. But realistically, like, if you are in a fat loss phase, you need to make sure you're hitting your protein. You want to be making the most from your calories. And that then could impact, your appetite, and you're then starving for the rest of the day. So I just think when you're actually looking at it from a best, like, what is the word I'm trying to say? Getting the most from it, like most bang for your buck, whatever that saying is. You just sidetracked myself completely there. You want to be doing it in like the most optimal way to get the results with, without making life harder than it needs to be. So I just think if you are someone currently going through these phases, this would be a better approach to utilise and have some sort of structure in place. And this is an approach I use with a lot of my clients as well, but they'll have like basically protein and calorie targets per meal, and I'll give them an example and then they can like rotate their foods around. And that's literally what I do as well in mine. Not so much in a prep, I do keep them very same in prep, but in like a fat loss phase, in a building phase, I will swap the foods around. So I might have a bagel one day, pasta the next day, but the carbs for that meal will be the same, if that makes sense. So that's just my take on like meal plans, how they work better, and how they might actually optimize your results. So yeah, on that note, I'll show you what I eat tomorrow, which is the same as every other training day, which is probably a bit boring, but it works. So yeah, tomorrow is a Tuesday and it's my gluten ham day, and I'm also going to be doing obviously my cardio after my gluten ham session. So I'll talk you through like how it works, but like I already know what food I'm going to be eating tomorrow. I know what times I'm going to be eating. Makes life so much easier rather than having to like faff about. And I've got that bit of flexibility. I've got 150 calories, so if I want to use that on chocolate I can, but it's 150 calories, so I know it's not going to take away from my other meals and leave me like starving with no protein for the day. So just having those like guidelines, it honestly just makes life so much easier. I sound like I'm trying to really sell this, but I really am trying to sell it because it really helps me. So anyway, I'll show you what I eat tomorrow and we'll go from there. Right then, so I have just been working this morning. So I've just finished my client check-ins. So Tuesday is my first client check-in day of the week. So I've just wrapped those up and I'm just about to make my pre-workout meal, and then I'm gonna head to the gym. It's 11:15. So I usually like to leave for the gym about 11:30. So for this meal, I've got 45 grams of oats, a banana, and 25 grams of whey. I have been using my free calories for 10 grams of peanut butter. So what I tend to do with my free calories, just to make life a bit easier, is I will have the same free calories basically through the week. So I'll have the same food, so I'm not having to actually track them, because again, tip with fat loss or any sort of diet you're trying to stick to, if you can make less decisions and make life easier, the consistency will improve. If you are constantly every day having to think, what am I going to eat, what should I have for this meal, like the chances of you being consistent are going to be far less. Whereas if you can take the decision making away and be like, right, this is my lunch for the week, this is the calories, it makes life a lot easier. And I would recommend that If you are someone that likes flexibility and you don't want to eat exactly the same meal today every day, fine, but maybe you track your lunch for that week and you say, right, this is my lunch for the next 5 days while I'm working, that's tracked in, it's done. You don't want to be chopping and changing every meal every day, because I'm going to be honest, like no one's going to stay consistent doing that. So yeah, what I'll do is I've got 153 calories. I know that with the 50 grams of avocado I have in my breakfast, and with the 10 grams of peanut butter, that pretty much gives me my 153 calories for the day. So I'll just keep that the same all my training days this week, and then I don't have to track anything, which is great. So yeah, just about to make my pre, and then I'm going to head to the gym to train glutes and hams. 2 minutes. This is my favourite way. This is the vanilla ice cream flavour way. Little trick, put it on here, and then you get the little spoon. Here we have the pre, some peanut butter. The pip and nut sweet and salty peanut butter is the best. And then I'm also going to have this, so I had my creatine this morning already, so I'm going to have this on the way to the gym, which is the raspberry twist flavour mega pump from Conte. And this, like I said earlier, this is my pre every day, and it just makes it so much easier, because even if I train at a different time of day, which I don't, to be fair, I always train at this time where I can, I just know that's my pre-workout meal. I know what it is, I don't have to think about it, and it's done, and it just makes life so much easier. Just got back from the gym, and I've done my gluten hams, and I've done my half an hour cardio, so very sweaty. I'm just going to have my post-workout, which is 50 grams of Cocoa Pops and 25 grams of whey, and then I do have almond milk with that as well, so I'll put the almond milk on the cereal and then have the whey separately as a shake. So I'm just going to make that. I've got just over 20 minutes, and then I do have a consultation call, so quite a lot of the days I do have calls at 3 o'clock, so I tend to train from like 12 till 2, leave the gym, come back. I'm not actually in the gym for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Normally it's like an hour and a half. Come back, and then I will have my post-workout, have a shower, de-sweatify, and then I'll have a Pepsi Max normally, and just go and sit and do some more work in the afternoon. So that's what I'm gonna do. We've got, see, this is what I mean. Like, imagine now if I was tracking my food and I was like, oh, what am I going to have and how many calories I've got left? But I've also got a call in 20 minutes, so I don't have much time to figure it out. And then, you know, a lot of the time I am working straight through. I have calls from 3 till sometimes 7, 8 o'clock. And it's like, I've got to eat a meal somewhere in between those calls. And if I'm sat there on flipping my fitness pal trying to figure out what calories I've got left, like, that's going to take me a lot of brain power, whereas I know now, I know exactly what the rest of my day needs to look like for me to hit my calories. So game changer really. And that's that. Okay guys, I am just putting together my fourth meal. Yeah, my fourth meal. So for this meal, I usually have chicken for this, but I need to do a food chop tonight and we don't have any chicken in. So I always have tuna as a backup option. Tuna is a great option to have in the cupboard, because if you run out of cooked meat or cooked protein, you've got some tuna in the cupboard, and obviously macro-wise, it's very similar to chicken, being a lean protein serving. So that's a little top tip actually, is always make sure you stocked up on stuff that is like quick and easy. Sorry, do you want that? Okay, there you go. So like having things like pre-cooked chicken, like tuna, things like wraps and bagels, microwave rice that you don't have to like physically cook, even having things like salad, like tomatoes, cucumber, like spinach, frozen veg packs. So you could literally bang together tuna, some microwave rice and a bag of frozen veg with some Nando's Peronaise in like under 2 minutes in the microwave at the same time. So there's literally no excuses for not eating a decent meal. If you've got food like that in the house, then it becomes so quick and easy. And I'm not saying it's the most exciting meal, but it's better than nothing or not having something, you know, like that and not eating at all. So just having little things like that, I think I always stock up on things like that because it does obviously make the world a difference. And it makes things a lot more consistent as well when you have got backup options. So this meal now is basically protein and veg. So it's like salad, tomato, cucumber, a bit of beetroot, and then basically some tuna. So that's going to be my 4th meal for the day. Team, you can even buy veg like this, which is so quick and easy. Like, it's literally, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is take it out of the pack. So don't tell me you don't have time to meal prep. Okay, so I have just got back from the food shop. Alexa, turn down 1. It was a bit of a late food shop. It's 8:15 and I'm just got all the shopping to unload. But again, another reason, let me prop you up. Another reason why, like, having your meals kind of a bit more structured and a bit more set. Another reason why it's so helpful is because I know every week when I go to the shop, I know what I need to buy from the shop. And sometimes I might think, oh, you know, I'm not going to have chicken. I'll get prawns this week or I'll get cod. But I know I need a lean protein source with my main meal in the day. Same as with my evening, like my evening meal, normally I have steaks. Sometimes I will have like higher % fat beef mince with like Lloyd Grossman sauce and make it into like a bolognese. Sometimes I will have, the other day I had sea bass, again, high fat protein sauce. So you can still rotate, and like today I bought pasta because I'm going to have that instead of rice for my lunch one day. But it's so much easier because you don't have to sit, figure out the macros for your meals, figure out, you know, what you need to buy from the shop for that evening meal. So it just massively reduces a lot of the overwhelm and the time that comes with having to plan and track meals. And don't get me wrong, like I have, you know, clients that, Pibby, get out the shopping bag. Pibby. I have clients that track their macros, and if it works well if you are willing to put the time aside to plan and input your food in advance. But if you don't have that time, or you don't want to allocate that time, or you are maybe not being consistent with doing that, then that would be an indicator that potentially you need to go more down this route. So it does honestly just massively reduce the time needed around thinking around food. Even if you followed a plan through the day and tracked your evening meal, you know, that could still be an option. You just obviously have to sit down maybe the day before your food shop and sort of plan, right, what are my meals going to be for the next 7 days? What do I need to buy from the shop? Yeah, but for me, like, I will have a food shop on a set day, but because of Will being in hospital, it kind of threw off the food shop routine. So it's a Tuesday today, which is a very random day for me to do a food shop, but we're actually heading to Liverpool tomorrow, which is why we needed to get it done today, because at the minute we don't have things like chicken and stuff like that in, and I needed to get that prep. So what I'll do tonight is I'm going to just cook my next meal, so I need to put the potatoes in the air fryer, so I'm going to do that. But what I'm going to do is whack some chicken and some salmon in the air fryer, so that is cooked and ready to go for tomorrow. But again, it just shows how quick the prep can be, because, you know, like, I can just put that, we've got one of those dual air fryers where you can put 2 things in, and we've got a potato spinny air fryer, so I can put my potatoes on and my salmon and my chicken, and that can be done whilst I'm unpacking the shopping. I've also got a steamer that steams the veg, so I've got a rice cooker, so I could literally spend 10 minutes putting the protein in the air fryer, putting the potatoes in, rice in the rice cooker, veggies in the steamer in the microwave, and then, Pippi, get out of that bag. And then you can see how actually quick and easy meal prep can be, and then all my rice is cooked, you know, my protein's cooked for the next few days, just while I'm unpacking the shopping. So it really, if you're willing to kind of simplify your food a bit, it really doesn't have to take long at all to actually organise yourself and cook your food. But obviously now, like, it's 8:20. Like, I could have been like, oh, I can't be bothered to go and do my food shop, I'll do it another day, I'll just sit and watch TV instead. But like today, for example, it's been quite a busy day. I'm only done 9,000 steps, so I've still got 3,500 steps left to do. I've still got my food to prep, and I've still got all the shopping to unpack, and I still need to cook my food for tonight. So you can see how, like, it would have been the easy option for me to sack that off, but you know, I think it's just making that decision in yourself to be like, no, like, I'm hitting my goals, like, I need to do the work for it. Because it is possible, you know, it's just, I think it does take that bit of effort to organise yourself with your meals and make sure you've got the food in. And you know, the easy option is this dog, I swear to God. I need to show you this. She is sat on the toilet roll trying to get you're a cheeky monkey, you know. You get down from there, Missy. Trying to get the steak, aren't you? You're trying to get the steak. Pippi loves the healthy diet too. But yeah, anyway, just to kind of explain, like, yes, it might be more time consuming, and it might be a bit more effort, but if you want to reach goals, the effort has to be there. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling, I'm going to get my food in the air fryer, and I'm going to unpack my shopping. Okay, so just wanted to wrap up this video. So the last bit that was on the video previously was just my last meal, which was 200 grams of 0% fat Greek yogurt and 100 grams of berries, and after that I just basically headed off to bed. So hopefully that just gives you an insight into like how my day is structured, how my meals are structured, and also how you can, you know, how you can structure your day, how you can actually make your life easier and simplify your life when it comes to making progress with your goals. So if you do have any questions at all around your nutrition, you know, how to structure this, how to actually reach your goals, meal prep, anything at all, please just pop a comment below. I'm always more than happy to help out. We do cover quite a lot on the podcast as well, and the link is also below, so there's loads of info on here to help. And obviously if you are someone who is struggling at the minute with your journey and you want support, you can always drop me a message on Instagram, and yeah, we can have a chat basically. So hopefully this has helped, and I will be back very soon with another video.